Okay. I know I told you guys that I was done with this thing, but it's only been about 2 days since we've had it on the dyno, and I just can't sleep nights. It's bugging me where that power went, and it's something like that. It's just gonna bug the heck out of me until I figure it out. So as you can see, I'm back into it again. I'm looking for the ponies, you know, the horsepower that's missing. Are you in there? Come out, wherever you are. Just don't come out through the side of the block. But anyway, I'm gonna make a few small changes and then we're gonna head back to the dyno once again. I'm just gonna try to be persistent with this thing and see, you know, if we can get everything that I think we can get out of it. You know, I may be doing something, trying to do the impossible here, because I've really only known 3 people with these 074 heads that have tried to make as much power as they can with them, and all 3 of those people had a superior intake manifold than the one I'm using. So you know, and then the compression, all 3 of those guys had 13.5, 14.5 to 1 compression. You know, one guy made, here comes story time. One of them you're not going to believe. But one of them made, well, 2 of them. One of them made 660, one of them made 650. And the last one is the one that I don't even know if I believe. But it was dynoed at a reputable dyno shop. They made over 900 horsepower with these heads. And they had very similar flow numbers. You know, the first 2 guys I'm sure didn't have the kind of flow numbers that I have, and that's why I'm trying to do it on low compression on pump gas with a crappier intake manifold, and I expect more than those guys because my heads flow better. That's usually how I make power. But that 3rd guy, he made over 900 horsepower with these heads. Now here's the kicker though. It was 14.5 to 1 compression engine. It was 555 cubic inch. It had that big bore block. And it had a gigantic, here's the kicker, tunnel ram with 2 Dominator carburetors on it. And they made over 900 horse with these heads. And I mean, the camshaft, I'm sure, was, all 3 of those guys use, you know, at least a 7,000 RPM type of high revving camshaft with a big open intake on the other 2, you know. Well, the one was an L88 intake, so that's better than the one I'm using. You know, L88 was a better intake than the LS6. But I might be trying to do the impossible is the bottom line here. I actually tried to buy that 900 plus, it was like 920 horsepower 555 from the guy, and I almost had that deal. It fell through at the last minute, and then I just decided to do my heads exactly the way he had his done. And you know, I might be expecting more than what I'm gonna try to achieve. But I got a couple of things I'm gonna do here. I don't really want to change the camshaft profile, but I might. You know, I'll give you my. Have I ever told? No, I haven't told you guys, but I'm sure some other people have heard this from me. My analogy of engines are like people. Engines are like people. I mean, some of them are high-strung, peaky, aggressive, you know, unpredictable. Well, a little less dependable, and those are usually the ones that don't live very long too, just like people. And then some of them are more mellow, you know, more reliable, and I'm trying to find something. I'm trying to build, you know, because what determines that, you know, the personality of the engine. What determines that are the parts you put into it. You know, you put some high compression pistons, you put a big high revving high duration camshaft, long duration and high lift camshaft, and you get what the result from the parts that you put into them. And that's why I'm trying to achieve this at low RPM on pump gas. You know, the intake manifold that I'm using is a low RPM intake manifold. I'm always going to be restricted by that. So what we're trying to build here, the old Frankenstein. We're trying to get something halfway in between that mellow, easygoing, smooth operator engine and the violent, aggressive engine. There's got to be a happy medium, right? And especially for a street motor, a numbers correct motor. I think we can find something, you know. I'm going to tweak this a little bit, and we're going back to the dyno. Let's do it. Good morning. Welcome back to Hillbilly Speed Shop. Well, got it back in one piece. We're gonna go test it again today. You know, I used to always say my methods are crude, but you can't argue with my results. But this time, you can argue with the results. You know, if engines all have their own personality, I'd call this one a lazy underachiever so far. But I've made some changes to it, you know. I don't want to set a new record. I think maybe I already have, but I don't want to go there where I'm setting a record for the amount of camshafts that I bought for any one given build. But I don't want to get to that point, but we made some changes, hopefully some positive ones, and I know a guy that knows a guy. We're going 2 towns over this time, only about 10-12 miles away. There's a guy over there that's going to let me use his dyno today for next to nothing. Sounds like a great guy. So we're going to do a little more testing on this lazy bones. Hopefully, you know, I poked it with the stick a couple times and woke it up. I gave it a couple swift kicks in the rear main, and we'll see if that motivated it anymore, because we're about, oh gosh, we're 50 short on torque, 50 short on horsepower at least. You know, I don't think we're gonna make up that much ground, but let's run over there quick. Hop in, and we'll see what she says this time.
Little one?
Yeah.
Are you? You don't like it?
Okay, we're on our way to the dyno again. Hopefully the sound isn't... We got a new camera. Threw that other one in the garbage because it's from China, I think. Everybody's saying, oh, thank God he threw away that.
Vagina.
He threw away that piece of crap that broke our eardrums last time. Just heading over here 2 towns over. I knew a guy that knew a guy. Let's see what this guy's all about. Make a few pulls, have some fun.
Carburetor will be pretty close, right?
It should be. You know, you got air fuel on there, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah.
I'll watch
The main thing is keep an eye on that oil pressure with the... lean at the end there.
88. It's good for what you want to do.
Yeah, it is. It's going to make a nice street engine. Didn't like it, did it?
Like it, no. Like that. Wait for that air cleaner to
Well, that was fun, huh? Here we are again, back from dyno number 2. I rounded up a few ponies, I guess. Not as many as I wanted to, but we got an extra 20 horsepower out of the deal. We made it to 650 on the horsepower and the peak, and it was at 6,300 still, so we're still good for low RPM. We rounded up quite a bit of torque. We got an extra 30 pounds of torque out of the deal. So our numbers this time around were 650 horsepower and 610 torque. Pretty cool guy at the dyno. Got to meet some new people. You know, this kind of what this is all about, this hot rod and stuff and drag racing, engine building is the best part for me is just meeting new people. I can't believe this guy, he lived about 20 miles from me and I've never met him before. And it's probably because he hasn't drag raced for about 10-15 years. He's just been doing the juniors with his daughter. But man, I had a lot in common with this guy, and he lives right in my neighborhood practically. And it was fun. It was really nice of him to let me do that. You know, I gotta apologize to him. I didn't mention that we were on another dyno, but I wanted a fair dyno comparison too, because this was kind of fun to do a dyno comparison. You know, we did a dyno in central Wisconsin, we did a dyno here in central Minnesota, and I'll tell you what, man, any of you guys out there that say these guys are running a stingy dyno or a generous dyno, these dynos, I'd like to do another one. That'd be really fun if, you know, this guy let me do it for a really fair price, or otherwise I wouldn't have done 2, but it'd be really cool to go do 3 now within a few days and see. But I mean, it was right on the, you know, their DynaFlow, you know, that's usually what everybody uses, is a DynaFlow dyno, and man, they were really close, you know. The adjusted power, this is how a dyno works if people don't know out there. You've got dynos all over the world, and what the software adjusts for your altitude, so that you can do the same engine on a dyno. This is how it's supposed to work. You do the same engine on a dyno in Colorado, in the Rocky Mountains, high in elevation, and you do the same you know, on the East Coast at sea level, and the air is way different, but the software corrects for that, so that all dynos measure power the same. That's how it's supposed to work. And man, it really did on these 2 dynos. They were really close. And I mean, I didn't mention the fact that we're doing a dyno comparison because I wanted a fair comparison, and it was legit. Of course, you know, I don't ever trust dyno numbers one way or the other until I have a ET slip from the drag strip to go with, and then you know, you have verified your power. Mile per hour is usually a better determination of horsepower than ET, because there's a lot of things that can go wrong and slow down your ET, but the mile per hour is always the same. You can tell horsepower every time by quarter mile per hour, you know, and the mile per hour will go up and down with the air because you're not adjusting for that, you know, but you can get a good idea after a season of running how much horsepower your engine has just by your mile per hour. So anyway, that's what we did, and it was really fun. It was really nice of that guy to let us do that. I think we've got all it's got. You know, I mean, to get more out of this engine, I'm going to have to change the camshaft again, and I don't want to do that. And it's exactly what I want. You know, we're just short a little bit of power, but it's doing exactly what I want at the RPM, you know, and on the fuel that I want to do it on. You know, that's about it. The next thing to do, we're gonna put it in the car and we're gonna go to the track and we're gonna see what it runs and what kind of ET and mile per hour we can get out of it. So we're gonna stuff it in the car, and as soon as the weather gets cooperative around here, we're hitting the track with it in the car, and you guys can come with. You know, this whole thing has been kind of, there's a lot of numbers to crunch, and you know, if you're not into math, it's kind of the fun part for me. If you're not a numbers kind of guy, you probably shouldn't be doing performance engine building, because there just are so many variables that determine power. And you know, sometimes you're right and sometimes you're wrong. And my last two engines, I had such fabulous dyno results. So the dyno sheets were just unbelievable. And then I had to go verify at the track and make sure they were legit. And they were. And this time it's the other way around. I have crappy dyno numbers, and we're gonna go to the track and see, you know, if they're legit. And they probably are, you know, but you always kind of need that time slip to verify your dyno slips. The dyno is just a measuring tool, and there are a lot of variables in there that show up at the track that don't show up on the dyno. But it is a fun tool. I love going to the dyno and monkeying around all day and seeing what I can get out of it. I'll show you the new slips here, and then we'll compare them to the old slips, and then we'll get busy stuffing this thing in the car. Thanks for coming along. It was fun. All right, we're back from the dyno, and here are our results. Picked up a little power. You know, we hit 650 with it. I don't know if you can see there. We got 650 and a half. We were fighting to get 650 out of it. 650.2, and that's, you know, it's coming in right about 6,400 RPM. We can hit 650 horsepower with it. It's a little disappointing. I was hoping we'd gain a little more, but then the torque was up too. The torque looked really nice this time. We got over 600 foot-pounds of torque, 610, 609. So I don't know, we got 610 torque, 650 power, and that's about all we can do. You know, I mean, those little changes I made, you know, we picked up what did we pick up? 22 horsepower, and geez, we picked up 30 foot-pounds of torque, just over the little bit of tweaking there that I did. I don't think we're gonna get much more out of it. I don't know. You know, I'd have to change the cam again, and I just don't want to do that. 650 is respectable for a street engine, and I'm gonna say it again. I think I'm done now. I don't know, you know, I could tinker with it some more and try to get it up there, but 650 I think is gonna have to be good enough. So that's the end result. There's the proof in the pudding right there. 650 horsepower, 610 torque. And that's our day. It was a fun day. Met a new guy. Really nice guy. Fun time. Over and out.